Every monument hides a story. Every stone whispers a past. Welcome to History Vault, where history comes alive. In the heart of Virginia lies a city where time folds upon itself, where every cobblestone, every timber house, whispers stories of ambition, struggle, and revolution. Colonial Williamsburg, a place where ordinary people walk streets that would shape a nation, where secrets of power and rebellion linger in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. Step inside, and the past awakens, alive in the rhythm of daily life, the hum of trade, and the quiet murmur of history echoing through every corner. In the heart of Virginia, tucked away along the banks of the James River, lies a place where time seems to fold back on itself, where every cobblestone and timbered building whispers secrets from centuries past. Colonial Williamsburg, a city frozen in the delicate balance between history and legend, offers more than the charm of well-preserved colonial architecture. It is a living tapestry of early America, a stage where the ambitions, struggles, and everyday lives of the 18th century come vividly to life. From the moment one steps onto its narrow streets, the echoes of horse hooves against stone and the distant murmur of colonial marketplaces transport visitors into a world that shaped the destiny of a nation yet to be born. Long before Williamsburg became the jewel of colonial Virginia, the land itself held stories waiting to be told. Originally part of the Powhatan Confederacy, these rolling hills and fertile grounds nurtured both Native American communities and the early English settlers who arrived seeking new opportunities and wealth. By the late 1600s, Williamsburg was chosen to replace Jamestown as the capital of the colony of Virginia, a decision that would forever mark it as a center of power, culture, and politics. The city's planners envisioned more than a functional colonial town. They imagined a hub of governance and commerce, where the ideals of the emerging British colonies would be tested and displayed. Yet beneath this veneer of order, the tensions of empire, ambition, and survival simmered, leaving traces that modern visitors can almost sense if they listen closely to the walls themselves. The streets of colonial Williamsburg are not merely pathways of travel. They are arteries of history, carrying stories from one generation to the next. Timber-framed homes, their facades meticulously restored, reveal the lives of those who walked these streets centuries ago. In the town square, merchants once hawked spices, fabrics, and tobacco, their voices mingling with the clatter of wagons and the laughter of children. Each building carries a secret, a silent testimony of the countless individuals who contributed to the tapestry of colonial life. From the blacksmith shaping iron in the dim light as forged to the seamstress whose hands wove delicate garments for the elite. There is a quiet majesty in this preservation, a reminder that even the simplest actions of ordinary people resonate across time. Yet Williamsburg was more than a center of daily life. It was the beating heart of political intrigue and social aspiration. As the capital of Virginia, it became a meeting place for influential figures whose decisions would ripple far beyond the city's boundaries. Gentlemen in powdered wigs debated the future of colonies still tethered to the crown, while whispers of rebellion began to thread to the taverns and meeting halls. The governor's palace, a magnificent symbol of colonial authority, stands as a sentinel over the city, its stately rooms and grand halls hiding stories of ambition, scandal, and power. Walking through its corridors, one can almost imagine the faint echo of footsteps that belonged to men who would shape the revolution, their discussions a blend of hope, fear, and strategy. Colonial Williamsburg streets and alleys are layered with contrasts that continue to fascinate historians and visitors alike. On one hand, there is a meticulous order of a planned colonial capital, its layout reflecting the ambitions of the English elite. On the other, there is the unpredictable, often harsh reality of colonial life, where disease, labor, and the unpredictability of the New World challenged every notion of control. The juxtaposition of prosperity and struggle, refinement and hardship, creates a palpable tension, a reminder that history is never one-dimensional. As the sun casts long shadows across the town, the light catches on the worn edges of wooden shutters and the uneven stones of the streets, offering fleeting glimpses of a past that is both familiar and mysteriously distant. Walking through colonial Williamsburg today, one might catch fleeting glimpses of the past in unexpected ways. The scent of wood smoke drifting from a recreated hearth, the distant toll of a bell from a centuries-old church, or the flutter of period clothing on a guide moving through a reconstructed home. These moments, though carefully curated, are imbued with authenticity and a sense of mystery, as if the town itself remembers and welcomes a curious traveler. Every corner holds a potential for discovery, every building a story that begs to be told, and every shadow a hint of lives once lived with passion, fear, and unyielding determination. It is this delicate dance between fact and legend, history and imagination, that makes Colonial Williamsburg an enduring fascination for visitors from around the world. Here, one does not simply learn about the past. One experiences it. One feels the heartbeat of a city that witnessed the birth of ideas, the rise of leaders, and the quiet resilience of everyday people. Williamsburg invites a journey into the layers of time, encouraging each visitor to uncover not only the tangible artifacts of history, but also the intangible whispers that linger in the air. As the light fades across its streets and the shadows of the past lengthen, the city stands as a timeless reminder that history is not merely recorded. It is felt, lived, and endlessly intriguing. Life in Colonial Williamsburg was a tapestry of rhythm and ritual, a world both ordinary and extraordinary, where survival, ambition, and community intertwine in ways that still echo centuries later. As the sun rose over the town, its early light would illuminate the simple, yet carefully ordered homes lining the streets, their timber frames sturdy against the passage of time and the unpredictable forces of the new world. Within these walls, families awoke to the demands of the day, children tending small gardens, women preparing meals over open hearths, and men gathering tools for work that would define their trade. Each day was a dance between necessity and aspiration, a blend of toil, skill, and hope that gave life to the colony's heartbeat. The marketplace in the center of town served as the lifeblood of Williamsburg, a place where commerce and community collided. Merchants laid out barrels of spices, woven fabrics, and freshly harvested crops, their voices carrying over the hum of activity. The clatter of wooden carts against cobblestone streets, the chatter of neighbors, and the occasional bark of a dog created a sensory collage, painting a vivid picture of daily colonial life. But beneath the surface of this bustling scene, there were layers of human drama that the modern eye might overlook. Alliances formed over trade, whispered rivalries between merchants, and the quiet struggles of those who labored in anonymity to keep the town functioning. Each transaction, no matter how small, carried with it a story, a subtle hint of ambition or desperation that lingers in the very air of Williamsburg today. Tradespeople were the unsung heroes of the town, each master of their craft contributing to a fragile but vibrant economy. Blacksmiths worked tirelessly in their forges, the rhythmic hammering of iron echoing through narrow alleys, shaping not only tools and horseshoes, but the very backbone of colonial life. Carpenters carved intricate details into homes and public buildings, their skills ensuring both utility and beauty in a world where structure and aesthetics were equally prized. Meanwhile, weavers, bakers, and coopers labored with precision and care, their hands producing the tangible goods that sustained the community. There was an artistry to their toil, a quiet dedication that spoke volumes about the resilience and ingenuity of people living on the edge of a vast, unpredictable frontier. The social fabric of Williamsburg extended far beyond the marketplace and workshops. Taverns, meeting halls, and churches served as gathering points, offering both leisure and subtle intrigue. In these spaces, citizens exchanged news, debated politics, and navigated the delicate balance between conformity and personal ambition. The taverns, dimly lit by candlelight, were filled with laughter, argument, and the occasional secret whispered over ale. Here, one could overhear the murmurs of dissent or the plotting of new enterprises, the faint thrill of mystery always lingering in the background. Meanwhile, churches provided a counterpoint of solemnity, where the townspeople sought guidance, reflection, and a sense of order amid the uncertainties of colonial life. Together, these social spaces painted a picture of a community deeply engaged with both the spiritual and practical dimensions of their world. Education and skill building were quietly powerful forces shaping Williamsburg's residents. Apprenticeships were a cornerstone of daily life, with young boys and girls learning trades under the watchful eyes of masters who demanded both precision and loyalty. Each apprentice carried the hopes of their family and the promise of social mobility, navigating a world where knowledge was currency and skill could determine one's destiny. The lessons learned in these workshops extended beyond craftsmanship. They were exercises in patience, discipline, and adaptation, qualities essential for survival in a colony that demanded resilience at every turn. The streets themselves became classrooms, as observation of seasoned artisans offered insight into both the practical and subtle intricacies of colonial living. Amid this rhythm of daily life, one senses an undercurrent of tension and mystery that colors Williamsburg's history. Life was precarious, subject to the whims of weather, disease, and political instability. Every family had its untold stories of illness survived, debts repaid, or rivals quietly bested. The air of the town carries these echoes faintly, as if each footstep along the cobblestones brushes against centuries of experience. Even the most mundane tasks were imbued with significance, each action contributing to the delicate equilibrium that allowed the town to thrive. Colonial Williamsburg was not simply a place of work and habitation. It was a crucible in which character, ambition, and circumstance were continuously tested. Despite the challenges, the town pulsed with vitality and creativity. Festivals and gatherings punctuated the daily grind, offering moments of joy, celebration, and theatricality. Musicians, storytellers, and actors brought color and sound to the streets, reminding residents that life was not solely about survival, but about connection, expression, and the pursuit of fulfillment. In these moments, Williamsburg revealed its dual nature, a rigorous, demanding colonial settlement and a vibrant cultural hub, rich with nuance, energy, and, at times, intrigue. Walking through Williamsburg today, one can almost sense the rhythm of these lives, the invisible threads of labor, conversation, and imagination stretching across centuries. From the carefully restored blacksmith shops to the recreated kitchens and workshops, every corner offers a glimpse into the intricate dance of daily existence in the 18th century. There is a haunting beauty in the way history has been preserved here, a subtle reminder that the lives of ordinary people, their struggles, their ingenuity, and even their secrets have left an indelible mark on the world. Colonial Williamsburg invites us not only to witness the past, but to feel it, to sense the mystery and humanity that make history resonate across time. Colonial Williamsburg was more than a quiet town of craftsmen and merchants. It became a crucible for the revolutionary spirit that would ignite a continent. As tensions simmered between the American colonies and the British Crown, the streets of Williamsburg pulsed with ideas that were as dangerous as they were inspiring. The town's very architecture, with its stately homes and public buildings, bore silent witness to whispered debates and clandestine gatherings where the fate of a fledgling nation was quietly debated. Within the governor's palace and surrounding taverns, the air was thick with anticipation, the weight of decisions yet to be made pressing on the shoulders of those who walked these corridors. One could almost feel the electricity of revolution hanging in the air, a tension that bridged ordinary life and historic upheaval. The most prominent figures of the era passed through Williamsburg, leaving footprints that still seem to echo today. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and Patrick Henry were not merely visitors, but architects of destiny, shaping ideas that would challenge centuries of authority. In the dimly lit rooms of the Capitol building, fiery debates unfolded over taxation, representation, and the rights of men, concept that would ignite both loyalty and rebellion. Patrick Henry's impassioned words, though carried in the voices of men and women in hushed corridors and tavern corners, reverberated through the colony, stirring a desire for freedom and self-determination that could not be silenced. These were not abstract political arguments. They were confrontations with the very essence of power and identity, played out on streets that seemed ordinary, but were anything but. Williamsburg's taverns, usually spaces of social leisure, transformed into arenas of intrigue during these revolutionary years. Candlelight flickered against rough-hewn walls as merchants, lawyers, and planters exchanged coded messages and debated their loyalties. Every whispered conversation carried weight. Every footstep on creaking floors might have been overheard by spies, loyalists, or sympathizers. The mysteries of these encounters, the secret alliances, hidden sympathies, and quiet betrayals, add layers of tension to the story of the town. Even today, walking through these same streets, one can sense a lingering sense of clandestine activity, as though the past refuses to let go entirely of its secrets. At the heart of Williamsburg's political life stood the Capitol, a symbol of both governance and revolution. Here, laws were passed, disputes adjudicated, and the foundations of self-rule quietly laid. Within these walls, debates about liberty and authority unfolded in a language of civility that often concealed fierce passion and quiet determination. The Governor's Council and the House of Burgesses were not merely administrative bodies. They were incubators of ideas that would challenge centuries of monarchy and tradition. Each vote cast, each speech delivered, carried the potential to alter the trajectory of a colony and ultimately a continent. It was a place where the line between diplomacy and defiance was thin, where courage and calculation were inseparable companions. The city's residents, too, were swept into the currents of revolution, their lives intersecting with grand political events in ways both subtle and profound. Farmers, artisans, and shopkeepers watched and listened, absorbing the undercurrents of change while tending to their daily lives. Women, though often invisible in official records, played essential roles, managing households, supporting revolutionary causes, and maintaining the delicate balance of community life. Enslaved people, whose labor underpinned much of the town's prosperity, witnessed the stirrings of revolution in ways that remain complex and often unspoken, their lives bound to the ideals of freedom that others debated and demanded. Williamsburg was a stage where all these narratives intersected, creating a dynamic tension between the personal and the political, the ordinary and the extraordinary. Beyond the buildings and the bustling streets, the town itself seemed to hold secrets of its revolutionary past. In quiet corners, the faint marks of hurried footsteps, the subtle distortions of old walls, and the remnants of hidden passageways hint at meetings conducted in secrecy, messages passed under cover darkness, and alliances forged away from prying eyes. Every street, every alley, holds a story of courage, risk, and sometimes betrayal, reminding us that the march toward independence was never straightforward. The mysterious rhythm of these historical layers, the blend of visible and invisible, spoken and unspoken, invites visitors to not just observe history, but to feel it. As the sun casts long shadows across the town today, the legacy of Williamsburg's revolutionary years becomes palpable. The streets that once echoed with the clatter of carts and the murmur of merchants now seem to whisper of fiery debates, midnight meetings, and the relentless pursuit of liberty. Visitors strolling past the stately homes, reconstructed workshops, and public buildings are enveloped by a sense of continuity, as though the spirit of the past lingers in the very air. The revolutionary energy that once surged through these streets is now preserved in every detail, from the careful restoration of architectural features to the reenactments that bring history vividly to life. Colonial Williamsburg reminds us that revolution was not a single event, but a series of interconnected moments, choices, and actions taken by individuals both celebrated and obscure. Its streets, taverns, and halls remain living witnesses to the complexities of society grappling with power, freedom, and identity. Here, history is more than dates and documents. It is a pulse, a story told in stone, wood, and whispers, inviting every visitor to step closer, listen carefully, and uncover the mysteries of a city that helped shape the destiny of a nation. As the centuries passed, Colonial Williamsburg faced a slow drift of time, its once vibrant streets and bustling marketplaces succumbing to decay and neglect. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many of the town's historic structures were crumbling, and the stories they held risked being lost forever. Yet, even in its quiet decline, Williamsburg whispered its secrets, its weathered walls and fading timbered homes quietly yearning to be remembered. The city seemed to carry an unspoken promise, that its legacy, though fragile, had the power to awaken the imagination of those who could see beyond the surface, to recognize history not merely as a series of events, but as a living, breathing narrative waiting to be restored. The revival of Williamsburg is a story almost as remarkable as the colonial era itself. In the 1920s and 1930s, a vision emerged to preserve and restore the city to its former glory, a vision that would transform the town into a living history museum unlike any other. Spearheaded by philanthropists and historians, most notably the Rockefeller family, this ambitious project required meticulous research, careful planning, and an unwavering dedication to authenticity. Every building, from modest homes to the grand governor's palace, was painstakingly examined, studied, and restored, ensuring that the craftsmanship and architectural details reflected the 18th century reality. The streets themselves became a carefully curated stage, each corner and alleyway imbued with the spirit of a bygone era, yet offering subtle clues of lives once lived, decisions once made, and secrets quietly preserved. The restoration efforts went far beyond mere structural repair. They sought to capture the intangible essence of colonial life. Scholars pored over diaries, letters, and official records, uncovering the minutiae of daily routines, social customs, and local politics. Blacksmith shops were reconstructed with functional forges. Kitchens were stocked with historically accurate tools, and workshops buzzed once more with the hum of artisans at work. Even the layout of the town, from the position of the market stalls to the placement of trees and fences, was carefully considered, reflecting not only historical accuracy, but also the subtle rhythms of colonial society. Visitors today walk through Williamsburg as if stepping into a storybook, yet beneath the surface lies a meticulous scholarship and careful attention to detail that make the experience both authentic and hauntingly vivid. What makes Williamsburg truly remarkable is the way it bridges past and present, allowing modern audiences to experience history as a living, dynamic force. Reenactors in period clothing move through the streets with quiet authority, demonstrating trades, crafts, and daily routines with astonishing realism. The rhythm of horse-drawn carriages, the cadence of market calls, and the distant chime of church bells combine to create an immersive environment where time seems to bend. Yet amidst this authenticity, there remains a sense of mystery, an awareness that beneath the restored facades lie the original bones of the city, carrying echoes of lives, struggles, and decisions long past. Every shadow along the cobblestone streets, every creaking floorboard, seems to hint at hidden stories waiting to be discovered, whispers of history that the restoration could never fully illuminate. The preservation of Williamsburg also highlights the complex interplay between memory, interpretation, and cultural storytelling. Decisions about what to restore, what to reconstruct, and what to leave as fragments of the past reflect the priorities and perspectives of the 20th century visionaries who undertook the work. In this way, the town becomes a layered narrative, combining the lived experiences of its 18th century inhabitants with the aspirations and values of those who sought to preserve it centuries later. Visitors are invited not only to witness history, but to engage with it critically, to sense the layers of intention, imagination, and mystery that make Williamsburg a living testament to both its own past and the act of remembering itself. Walking through Colonial Williamsburg today, one is struck by the delicate tension between authenticity and theatricality. Every building tells a story, from the grand halls of the governor's palace to the modest workshops of everyday artisans. The streets hum with the activities of reenactors demonstrating the trades and crafts that sustain the colony, but the knowledge that centuries have passed adds a subtle poignancy. Visitors sense the lives that unfolded here, the triumphs and tragedies, the quiet victories and hidden defeats. There's a haunting resonance in knowing that while the city has been restored, its essence, its memories, its mysteries, its humanity, remains untouchable, hovering just beyond reach, waiting to be sensed rather than fully known. Colonial Williamsburg's revival also illuminates the transformative power of preservation. By saving these buildings, the streets, and the stories embedded within them, a portal has been opened into the past, allowing generations of visitors to connect with the realities of colonial life in ways that textbooks alone could never achieve. The town's careful restoration demonstrates that history is not static. It is an experience, an invitation to explore, to question, and to uncover hidden truths. Every visitor becomes a participant in this ongoing narrative, walking alongside figures from centuries ago, feeling the weight of their choices, and glimpsing the fragility and resilience of human endeavor. In essence, Colonial Williamsburg is a city where history and mystery coexist, where every stone, timber, and shadow speaks of the past, yet invites reflection on the present. Its streets are more than display. They are an immersive journey into a world shaped by human hands, ambitions, and dreams. The story of its preservation reminds us that history is alive, capable of being revived and reimagined, but never fully tamed. For those who wander its streets, listen closely, and open themselves to its whispers, Williamsburg offers a rare encounter, a chance to step into history, to feel its pulse, and to sense the secrets it still quietly guards. Today, Colonial Williamsburg stands not only as a restored city, but as a living monument to the passage of time, a place where history is not confined to books but unfolds around every corner. Visitors who wander its streets are enveloped in an experience that bridges centuries, where the past and present coexist in subtle, haunting harmony. Every timber home, every brick-paved lane, every carefully reconstructed shop tells a story of a people whose lives, ambitions, and struggles shaped the foundation of a nation. Yet, even amidst this careful preservation, There's a sense of mystery lingering in the air, as if the city itself remembers events that no historical record could ever fully capture. Walking through the town square today, one is immediately struck by the authenticity of the experience. Reenactors in period attire move through their daily routines with practiced grace, blacksmiths hammering iron in rhythmic bursts, bakers pulling warm loaves from brick ovens, and artisans demonstrating trades that have survived the centuries only through meticulous research. But beyond the sights and sounds, there is a deeper resonance, an awareness that these are not mere performances, but echoes of real lives, real choices, and real challenges faced by ordinary people whose stories were once nearly lost time. The air seems to hum with the weight of centuries, carrying whispers of ambition, resilience, and, at times, quiet desperation. Colonial Williamsburg is also a place of education, offering visitors a rare opportunity to step directly into history. Students, scholars, and tourists alike engage with interactive exhibits, workshops, and demonstrations, discovering not only the material culture of the 18th century, but the intangible rhythms of daily life. Apprentices learn trades just as they did centuries ago, following in the footsteps of young boys and girls who once navigated the delicate balance of learning, labor, and family responsibility. Meanwhile, visitors witness the social dynamics of colonial life, the hierarchies, expectations, and interactions that define community existence. Every demonstration, every story, every carefully curated detail serves to draw the audience closer to an understanding of a world that is simultaneously familiar and alien, immediate and distant. Festivals and special events bring the town to life in a way that transcends mere historical reenactment. Seasonal celebrations, market days, and theatrical performances recreate the vibrancy of 18th century Williamsburg, highlighting the joy, creativity, and cultural richness of its residents. Musicians, actors, and craftsmen breathe energy into streets that once reverberated with the sounds of daily labor, commerce, and conversation. Yet amidst this vibrancy, one can still sense a lingering tension beneath the surface, a reminder that life in colonial America was never simple or predictable. The city's restored beauty and the orchestrated rhythm of modern-day events are underpinned by centuries of complexity, struggle, and unspoken stories. The experience of Williamsburg is amplified by its immersive attention to detail. From the placement of market stalls to the orientation of houses and workshops, from the design of street signs to the subtle cues of period-specific decor, every element has been considered to evoke authenticity. Visitors walking the streets feel as though they are stepping into the very fabric of history, yet the city also invites reflection on the unseen layers, the decisions, alliances, and sacrifices that shape the lives of its inhabitants. There is a quiet allure in these hidden dimensions, a sense that the town holds secrets that only careful observation and imagination can uncover. It is a place where curiosity is rewarded, where every doorway, alley, and shadow could conceal a story waiting to be discovered. Colonial Williamsburg also serves as a bridge between generations, connecting the present with the past in ways that are both educational and emotional. Families explore the town together, children learning through engagement with crafts, demonstrations, and storytelling, while adults gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of early American life. The city's living history approach allows for a nuanced understanding of history, one that acknowledges the achievements, struggles, and contradictions of society on the cusp of revolution and transformation. The whispers of the past linger in the creaking floorboards, the faint aroma of hearth fires, and the subtle rustle of period clothing, inviting every visitor to participate in a dialogue with history itself. Even as Colonial Williamsburg thrives as a tourist destination, it retains an aura of mystery. The restored buildings, reconstructed streets, and bustling reenactments are layered over centuries of real lives, choices, and events that cannot be fully recaptured. Shadows of the past linger in quiet corners, in the space between walls and beams, in the very air that carries the scent of history. Visitors are invited not only to see and hear, but to imagine, to sense the presence of those who lived, loved, struggled, and dreamed within these streets. It is a subtle, almost ghostly reminder that history is never static. It is alive in memory, in place, and in the imagination of those who seek to engage with it. Ultimately, Colonial Williamsburg stands as a testament to the enduring power of preservation, education, and storytelling. It offers a window into the complexities of colonial life, the ingenuity of its inhabitants, and the quiet drama of a society on the brink of revolution. By walking its streets, listening to the echoes of trade and conversation, and observing the meticulous care with which history has been brought to life, visitors gain a profound understanding of the interplay between past and present reality and interpretation. Williamsburg is more than a restored town. It is a living dialogue with history, a place where mystery and authenticity intertwine, inviting every visitor to step closer, listen carefully, and carry the stories of the past into their own lives. In the fading light of day, as shadows stretch across cobblestone streets and the distant clatter of horse-drawn carriages fades, Williamsburg holds its secrets with quiet dignity. It reminds us that history is not merely to be studied but to be felt, experienced, and remembered. Every corner holds a possibility of discovery. Every building whispers of lives long gone, and every step taken along these streets is a journey into the heart of a world that continues to captivate, intrigue, and inspire. As the sun sets over Colonial Williamsburg, the streets fall silent, yet the stories remain. The footsteps of craftsmen, merchants, and revolutionaries seem to echo in the wind, reminding us that history is not only recorded, it is lived, felt, and remembered. Williamsburg stands as a living testament to the people who shaped a nation, a city where mystery and memory intertwine, inviting all who wander its streets to uncover the secrets of a time that continues to inspire, intrigue, and endure. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to History Vault, your gateway to the past.